Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Tuesday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm good. I'm actually excited to talk to your dad today, not only because it's Tuesdays with Charlie. We do that every Tuesday, but also I got a story that I can't wait to share with your dad. I think he's going to find it hilarious. So, moving over here, the DMV may soon be looking at you in their crime cases. The FBI has launched a project started in North Carolina that uses driver's license photos and facial recognition technology to track down criminal suspects. Here's my question. Why haven't we been doing that all along? I mean, doesn't that just make sense? If they've got photos of all of us from the DMV and they're looking for somebody that looks like us, why wouldn't they say, hey, this guy kind of looks like that guy? Don't you think that's...
it makes sense to me.
I don't know. Just a thought. Hey, and groking. I could be a professional groker. You know what groking is?
No.
Groking is the act of watching people eat food, hoping they'll offer you some.
Yeah, I've seen you do that.
What you got over there? What's that? Those are French fries? Those look. Are they any good? They kind of look like they might be good French fries.
Yeah, I've seen you do that. That's
something
else.
Are those crunchy French fries, or are those more of a? Do I want one? Oh yeah. Well, no, yeah. Sure, I'll take one if you want me to. So it's called groking. So next time you do it, make sure you know what you're doing. Coming up, we got some special stuff happening on this election day. We'll tell you all about that in a bit.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Tuesday. It's November the 8th. Today is Election Day. It's also Dunce Day. Do you think that's a coincidence? Part of me thinks no. It's Abet and Aid Punsters Day. It is Cook Something Bold and Pungent Day. It is National Parents as Teachers Day, National STEM Day, and National STEAM Day. STEM is like science, technology, engineering, and mechanical, something like that. And I don't know what STEAM is. Who knows? National Young Readers Day today, and it's X-Ray Day today.
All right.
Yeah. When they came up with that concept for a national day, everybody saw right through it. So.
Oh, wow.
We need a little boom.
Wow.
Yeah, every time I tell a bad joke, if we did that, our drummer's arms would be very tired. So let's just maybe not add that. Coming up in a moment, we've got some interesting things to talk about. That's all on the way on this election day. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Legally, we gotta have insurance. That's why getting the very best rate is paramount. I'm Jared Parsons. I founded the first national and virtual insurance agency. Until now, you were limited to the agents in your area. But what if the rates are better somewhere else? At Parsons, we shop around and we get you the best rate. It's that simple. Go to radioinsuranceguy.com. That's radioinsuranceguy.com.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. Have you ever lost your mobile phone or maybe your daughter?
What?
You might have left them in a London cab. It says here, if you own a cell phone, you've likely misplaced it at least once or twice. This is one of the things that is plaguing people in Britain. About 62,000 mobile phones, or nearly 3 for each taxi, were left behind since January alone. Cabbies have also found 2,900 laptops, 1,300 handheld computers. I think that would be like a tablet. This is all stuff they find in their back seat. But only half of the lost phones were ever claimed, with many owners betting their operating service would just replace the phone with a new and better gadget. Why? Because many mobile phone companies would rather give out a new handset than see their customers go to a rival service. So they lure customers in with the latest and greatest phone, and switch over to our service and we'll give you a better phone. So a lot of the companies where they're saying, hey, I lost my phone, can I get a different phone? They say yes, because they don't want to lose the customer. So among other strange items found in London cabs, by the way, goldfish in a water-filled bag.
Aww.
A suitcase full of diamonds.
Wow.
Yeah. $2,900 in cash. And probably the most interesting one, somebody left their daughter in the cab and got out and just took off.
People are leaving diamonds and cash. Maybe I should become a cab driver.
There you go. I'm thinking, sign up to do that. That happened in London. So that's all
suitcase
of that stuff.
Full of diamonds. I'm pretty sure that was not legit.
Yeah.
You got to wonder where they got a suitcase full of diamonds.
They maybe just got there from Belgium, Hey, we stopped and picked up. It could be, a jeweler or something. There's some people who
That
legitimately
walk around with a suitcase full of diamonds.
I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, there's probably a legitimate reason for it, but it does reek of, something a little fishy, doesn't it? All right. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on this election day. Want to remind you that it is election day, so if you've not yet voted, put that on your list of things to do. And if you take a cab there, make sure you bring everything with you because, you don't want to leave stuff behind like we talked about here. But it's true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
And this is your brain on drugs. Some bad days are worse than other bad days. You ever have a bad day, Heidi?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's quite as bad as this. Jeffrey Crook. First off, a tornado ripped through his Palm Bay, Florida neighborhood. That happened in February. If that weren't bad enough, the twister ripped through his home, ripped the roof right off it. If that wasn't bad enough, with his home roof exposed, helicopters were flying over and surveying damage, and they got a really good view of his elaborate marijuana growing operation.
Oh, my gosh.
His equipment and plants had a street value of about $8,000. They were confiscated, and Mr. Crook was busted and arrested. So he went from having a bad day, tornado in the neighborhood, ooh, tornado tore my roof off, ooh, they found all my marijuana, and ooh, now at least I have a warm place to sleep tonight, because
wow,
don't have to worry about that whole roof after all. Coming up,
I'd say I feel sorry for him, but I don't.
Yeah, I don't either. We've got your moment of duh on the way.
John and Heidi.
I have a story here that surprises me, and the only thing that surprises me about the story is that it's a lady and not a man.
Okay.
I mean, I cannot believe that a 54-year-old woman did this.
Okay.
If you'd have told me a 25-year-old man, it wouldn't shock me at all. But 54-year-old Deborah Thompson of Marysville, California, tried to wave down a train to stop it, as any normal person would expect.
Yeah,
the train
trains
was going.
Can't just stop.
It didn't stop, but it hit her, knocked her 20 to 30 yards. So that would be 30 yards is 90 feet. That's
Wow.
that's almost like a football field. So
Why was she trying to stop
it?
it?
From her hospital bed, she gave a perfectly reasonable explanation for her actions. She said, quote, "I was just being silly," end quote.
Wow.
I'm going to jump in front of this train and get him to stop. No, you're not. 20 to 30 yards she was knocked.
She's
so a
lucky
yard
to
is 3
still be
feet.
alive.
So 30 times 3
She's lucky
is
she was
90
able to
yards.
give a quote at all.
Yeah, no kidding. Her quote could have been nothing because she's dead, but thank goodness she's not. Coming up, we've got your election day scoop of the day, and that is on the way.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now your scoop of the day. Today is election day.
It is.
Well, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for today, but I do want to make sure I share this. It says, this is a story that after today, it's just not going to work. It says Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are two of the most unliked candidates in political history. But how do they compare? How do they stack up with other countries or government organizations or other newsworthy items? The Washington Post used a net favorability comparison to compare their popularity over time. Not surprisingly, the results show that the two candidates are seen as less favorable than Facebook, less favorable than Apple, and less favorable than the Olympic figure skating. So I can understand all of that. People like those things, I think, for the most part. However, they also rank below China. They're less favorable than Veteran Affairs, and this is the one that's a big shocker. People dislike Hillary Clinton and people dislike Donald Trump more than they dislike the IRS. It's a special thing to be able to do there. In addition to that, it says Trump and Clinton did come in at the bottom of the scale, but they were more popular than a few things. Guess what they were more popular than?
I don't know, gonorrhea?
No, I don't know if that was on the list, but... they were more popular than Congress. So that's got to make you feel good, Congress. And they were more popular than Vladimir Putin by a point. So there you go. Today is Election Day. I'm not telling you who to vote for, but do your patriotic duty and get out there and vote. A Canadian brother and sister became the first people to spend the night in Dracula's castle in Romania in 70 years. Halloween night, they won the chance through an Airbnb contest, and one of them even slept in a coffin.
I wouldn't sleep in a coffin, I don't
think I'd want to do either of those things. Mariah Carey is blaming Scientology for the breakup between her and her billionaire fiancé. So, thanks again, Scientology.
There are a lot of marriages that...
I don't understand that.
Well, I don't know. If they get one of them and they're really, really good, and then the other one's
kind of like, I don't think so. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so that's maybe what happened. But now let's talk about longevity in a relationship. A Texas couple was married for 74 years, and listen to this, Heidi. They both passed away on the same day last week.
Aww.
Leonard Cherry, age 95, and his wife Hazel Cherry, age 93, died 10 hours apart, both on October the 27th. They were high school sweethearts, and they married in 1942.
Aww.
That's before my dad was even born. So it's way before I was born. So they've been married 74 years, and they died on October 27th in the same day, which is really neat. Amazon has already started their Black Friday stuff. How crazy is that?
Really?
Yeah, I guess they already have specials. So can they just name it something else? Because it no longer makes sense. I mean, we should rename that whole thing. If you're going to start on Thanksgiving, it's no longer Black Friday, you know. If they're going to start, what is it, in November 1st, it's no longer that. They should call it something else. Lori Hernandez, I think is who we're talking about here. 16-year-old two-time Olympic gold medalist turned Dancing with the Stars darling, signed a deal to write her life story. The book will be called I Got This, To Gold and Beyond. Does not say how much she's making for that book, but I'll bet it's a lot. We were also offered the opportunity to write our life story. And it would all be on the back of a Cracker Jacks box. Okay, maybe not. Do they even still sell that?
Yeah, I've
Do
seen
they
them.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, I just thinking of it, I really like that stuff. I should get some. And our final story here. Oh, we actually have two. Somebody from India. I'm not even going to try the guy's name. He's a Guinness World Record holder for the longest ear hair.
Ew,
Yeah.
gross.
Since 2003,
That's disgusting.
he has been able to, this Indian grocer has been able to double the length of his world-beating tresses. 10 inches. That's how long his ear hair is.
So gross.
He says, I use a special herb shampoo to help my ear hair grow. I reached out to him to ask him some questions on this, but he couldn't hear me, so it didn't really work. So.
Gross. That is so disgusting.
10 inches of ear hair hanging out. That is getting gross.
Oh.
And then the last thing that we got to share today. Researchers say peeing in the ocean is actually good for marine life. To which Ocean Life said, oh, what now? Can't even imagine how they did that study, but we'll just go with it. This has been your Scoop of the Day.
John and Heidi.
Election day is almost here. No matter which side you're rooting for, you now have a place to get informed and to truly voice your opinion at PoliticalStorm.com. An amazing resource with information from people on both sides of the aisle, all in one place. Watch videos, read blogs, listen to podcasts like mine, and read fun editorials. You can also contribute with your own blog for free. Be a part of the community at PoliticalStorm.com. You have a choice, and now you have a voice, too, at PoliticalStorm.com. That's PoliticalStorm.com. And it's time right now for my favorite program, something we do every Tuesday just because we can. We pick up the phone and we call my father-in-law for a little thing we like to call Tuesdays with Charlie. How you doing, Charlie?
Well, you know, it must be Tuesday.
It definitely is, and it's always fun to visit with you on Tuesday. So first of all, I got a story here that I'm going to share, but I can't find it yet. So I'm going to let you tell me what kind of cool stuff we can learn about today.
Well, you probably don't follow golf at all.
No, not much.
You know about Augusta National Golf Course.
I've heard of that, yeah.
One of the best in the world.
Yeah.
You know that there are only 2 pro golfers who belong to Augusta?
No kidding?
Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus.
Well.
Why is that?
Well, for one thing, it's very, very expensive, very elite.
If pro golfers can't afford to belong to Augusta, who can?
Members only get to play there about 1 month a year.
Oh, wow. Well, and if it's not in your neighborhood, if you don't live in the area, if you're not going to be there, it wouldn't make any sense. So you could be a pro golfer from somewhere else, and it wouldn't make any sense at all to have a membership there. So that makes sense to me.
You can get me a membership there someday.
All right. We'll get you a guest membership. We'll just drive you by and point at it. There it is.
Okay, without natural predators, one couple of houseflies and their offspring would be able to cover all continents on Earth to the height of 18 feet after a couple months of reproduction.
Ew.
No kidding.
That's disgusting.
God, there's all kinds of bug spray out there, otherwise we'd be taken over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Gross.
lot of bugs right there.
Hey, then in 2008, a study found that the rate of suicides and heart attacks increase in the first few days after we spring forward for daylight savings time.
Oh, wow.
Thank God we went backwards.
I know. Fall back. Does that mean everybody gets to relax this next couple of weeks here?
You don't have to worry about it.
All right.
Then did you know, well, this has been forever. Baseball is considered the national sport of the United States.
Yeah.
You've heard that.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Okay, chances of a fan being hit by a baseball is 300,000 to 1.
Oh, man.
But then every now and then you see that poor getting conked, you know.
I've seen that done.
Attention.
Well, but think about how many people are in the stands, times how many games are playing every day. There's probably 300,000 people watching baseball every day. So that would mean like one person per day is going to get hit. So
Ooh. There's another reason I don't go to baseball.
Those are actually pretty good odds.
yeah.
Yeah.
Once a day, Ah!
Did you know in all 17,887 comic strips, Charlie Brown never once successfully kicked the football from Lucy?
I know. Isn't that sad? They should have given him at least one where he finally got to kick it.
Never once did he kick it.
No.
She wasn't holding the ball laces out. It's her fault.
Dan Marino.
That Dan Marino.
Little Ace Ventura pet detective for you there.
You know the guy that created Peanuts, was Charles Schultz?
Yeah.
He hated the name Peanuts.
Oh, no kidding?
Do you know what he wanted the cartoon to be called?
What?
Little Folks.
Little Folks. That works. I could go with Little Folks.
It would have been fine either way, because that's how you would have known it, no matter what they called it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't have known any difference.
So if it was his comic, who made him call it Peanuts?
Probably his wife. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, did I say that out loud? Sorry, baby.
What were you thinking?
Whoops.
Probably.
And then I got one last thing here for you.
All right, what's that?
You watch Star Wars.
I've seen it before, yeah.
Okay, I've never seen it.
You're not missing.
Don't let your grandson Troy know about
Yeah,
that.
You'll have a Star Wars weekend.
He will come to your house with the DVDs and make you watch it all weekend. So your secret is safe with me.
R2-D2 was originally played by a dwarf,
Okay.
but after 3 dwarfs overheated in the costume during rehearsals, in fact, one died,
Oh my goodness.
they agreed to cast a midget. As you know, the main difference between dwarfs and midgets is that midgets are more heat resistant.
That is not true.
I don't
There's
think-
no way that's true.
I don't think there's pretty sure that's with that in mind, let's just move on. Charlie, I decided instead of asking you a question this week, I wanted to just tell you this story because I thought this was actually something that I could not share without having you involved. In Japan, a patient was left badly burnt when she was having surgery, and they were using lasers, and she tooted during the surgery, and the entire room burst into flame. So, I only share that with you because I know that's one of your favorite pastimes is tooting. So if you're ever having laser surgery,
Yeah,
make
you
sure
might want to take a Beano before the surgery just to be safe.
that happened in Japan. So there you go.
That shows you how sick we are to laugh at something like that.
We have problems here on the John and Heidi Show. All right. Thanks, Charlie. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye, Daddy.
Bye, Fluff. Bye, John.
Bye-bye. My father-in-law right there. We talk to him every Tuesday just because we can with a little show we like to call Tuesdays with Charlie.
John and Heidi.
Are you ready for Duel? Kyle Dowling on guitar, Brett Gunderson on bass, Sam DeVito on drums, and frontman Duel Shape.
Gotta keep rocking, gotta keep sucking, bringing it down like rain.
Duel's new single just hit iTunes and it's selling fast. Get your copy now.
When you're lacking chains and you feel no pain, Supernova gonna get you too.
Their first single, Supernova, is available now for less than $1. Learn more and find a direct link to buy Supernova at facebook.com/DuelRocks.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
As a youngster, Alex Trebek, host of Jeopardy, won 7 spelling bees and 4 science fair championships.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't realize he was smart. I thought he was just reading all the answers or the questions or whatever it is. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Over 80% of professional boxers have suffered brain damage.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
It takes the human eye about an hour to adapt completely to seeing in the dark, but once it's adapted, your eye actually is about 100,000 times more sensitive to light than they are in bright sunlight. So you can actually see better in, dimmer lights than you can in bright lights. It's because your pupil opens up more. And your final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The venom of a female black widow spider is more potent than that of a rattlesnake. So if ever you're in the opportunity, you have some sort of situation where you have the opportunity to either be bitten by a female black widow spider or hit with a rattlesnake, choose the rattlesnake. Yeah.
That's right.
I don't know what kind of weird stuff you'd be playing where you have those 2 options, but
You never know. If it comes up, now you know which one to choose.
We've got some fun stuff on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Legally, we gotta have insurance. That's why getting the very best rate is paramount. I'm Jared Parsons. I founded the first national and virtual insurance agency. Until now, you were limited to the agents in your area. But what if the rates are better somewhere else? At Parsons, we shop around and we get you the best rate. It's that simple. Go to radioinsuranceguy.com. That's radioinsuranceguy.com.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on Election Day. We appreciate you joining us here. Night owls may have fun and may even get a lot done when everybody else is snoozing. Well, while you're roaming the house, it kind of seems like maybe you're also hitting the fridge quite a bit. So if you're up all night,
Oh, yeah.
a night
You're
owl,
snacking.
yeah. So you tend to put on weight if you're a night owl because while you're awake, you're more likely to eat junk food. Things like popcorn and ice cream and other stuff. Wait a minute, popcorn is junk food? I thought that was health food.
It's not health food when you lather it with butter and salt.
I don't do all that. During the tests, eating habits and weight of the control group did not change from their regular patterns. Their sleep-deprived participants started eating additional calories, which added up to a whopping, you ready for this? 550 extra calories per day. And those all came between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. Also, the foods they selected were in the wee hours of the night contained more fat as well. So it's not like you're going, I could go for some celery.
I could use a banana.
So what is it that prompts us to eat late at night? Dr. Christopher Winter, a medical director of the Martha Jefferson Sleep Center in Charlottesville, Virginia, says it's likely hormonal changes that occur when we are sleep deprived. So that's my problem, Heidi. It's not that I have no willpower. I'm just sleep deprived.
I've been telling you you're sleep deprived for years.
I know. So I need to get some more sleep, and maybe I would no longer weigh as much as I weigh. So next time I fall asleep on the sofa, just let me sleep. I'm sleep deprived. Here's what happens. We'll be watching TV. I'll fall asleep.
The only time I wake you up when you fall asleep on the sofa is to tell you to go to the bedroom.
Go to bed. I'm like, okay. And then I lay there for like another 10 minutes. I'll be there in a minute. No, really. I'm almost ready to walk in there. Like, why can't you, like when I was a little kid, they would just pick me up and carry me to bed?
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't we get a forklift or something? Beep, beep, beep. All right. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
If you're a business owner or the person in charge of advertising, I have a special offer just for you. We're doing a jingle special this month. Did you know that when you put words to music, they're 9 times more memorable? How would you like to be the name in your industry and have people singing your song? We've worked with hundreds of small businesses to create their own musical image, and we want to help you too. Reach out right now and we'll give you $500 off. Squeeze it into this year's budget and get results for years to come. Learn more and hear examples at RadioReallyWorks.com. That's RadioReallyWorks.com. Did you know that there was a gigantic rock that flew past the Earth on Sunday evening?
I did not.
I did not either. But astronomers already knew that it was coming, and they knew that it was not going to hit the planet or pose any dangers to any cities, thanks to the new computer program called Scout, the new tool that NASA has developed in order to detect potentially dangerous asteroids. The program is described as an alert system that constantly scans data from telescopes to see if there are any reports of near-Earth objects. When it finds something that's going to be coming close to Earth, they make fast calculations to see if we're at risk, and they direct other telescopes to check it, and if there is a risk, how big of a risk. So it's good to know they're doing that, because I was not really doing that. Were you paying attention to the stuff flying through space? Me neither.
Even if I were, what's the point? You can't stop it.
Oh, yeah. I remember there was this documentary a few years back.
It was not a documentary.
Oh, yeah. Armageddon. It was a documentary.
Was not a documentary.
Bruce Willis was in it, and they deflected it. So there is a way. And I'm going to go with that. So
if we can choose the person to go up and deflect it, I have my choice made already. The person has to stay there and blow up with the...
I don't even want to ask on Election Day who that would be. But if you want to read this story, I've got it at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Here's one way to get the last word in. Speak at a person's funeral.
Right.
So Pat Coben and her husband Ken always joked about who would get the last word in their playful arguments. So when Ken passed away from an ongoing illness, Pat finally decided to get the last word. Pat decided to write an obituary that would be fun and typify their relationship. She wrote that behind his bullheaded exterior, he was a good man, listed a lot of things that he enjoyed, like football and watching TV. At one point, listing food like every other word. Pat also said she plans to have Ken cremated with the TV remote control as well. So that's kind of neat. We were just talking about this. My wife over here got some books. What is the book called?
I'm dead. Now what?
Yeah. So she got these, and she got two of them, one for her and one for me.
Yeah.
I have not written mine at all yet.
No, you haven't.
I need to take some time to do that before I am dead. Hopefully it's a long, long time from now. But I was flipping through Heidi's book. Can we read that on the air sometime? It is hilarious. I was like, are you serious? It's Election Day. Coming up, we've got some presidential talk. That's on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Election Day is almost here. No matter which side you're rooting for, you now have a place to get informed and to truly voice your opinion at PoliticalStorm.com. An amazing resource with information from people on both sides of the aisle, all in one place. Watch videos, read blogs, listen to podcasts like mine, and read fun editorials. You can also contribute with your own blog for free. Be a part of the community at PoliticalStorm.com. You have a choice, and now you have a voice, too, at PoliticalStorm.com. That's PoliticalStorm.com. Dun, 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 dun. It's Election Day, and that, by the way, was supposed to be the presidential music. Probably wasn't all that good. But some presidential candidates are better than others, and some from on-screen are better than others as well. There's a bunch of presidents that were the favorite presidents from movies and television. So I've got here President Tom Beck from Deep Impact. That was Morgan Freeman that played him. He got 7% of the vote. President May Gillum, head of state, Chris Rock, 8% of the vote. President Andrew Shepard, well, we're going up the list here. Andrew Shepard.
So we started at the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Andrew Shepard was Michael Douglas and the American president. He was 8% of the vote. Now we're up to number 5, President Thomas Whitmore, Bill Pullman from Independence Day. He got 12% of the vote.
I like him a
number
lot.
Number 4 on the list, President Marshall, James Marshall from Air Force One. Harrison Ford played him.
Yeah, I could see that.
12% of the vote. President Josiah Bartlett from West Wing, Martin Sheen, 16% of the vote. Now we're up to President Mackenzie Allen, Commander-in-Chief Gina Davis, also 16% of the vote.
Really?
And the number 1 president, and I have to watch this TV program because I don't know, I have no clue who the actor is, and I have no clue who the character is. But the number 1 choice for president from movies was President David Palmer from the TV show 24. And we've talked numerous times about the fact that we need to just binge watch that sometime.
We really should.
We should at least just get one episode. Let's just check one episode. Anyway, Dennis Haysbert played David Palmer, 17% of the vote. So congratulations on winning that election. I mean, that online presidential poll.
Go.
Coming up, we do have an election today. Be sure to get out and vote. Like I said, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, but I encourage you to get out and do that. We've got some good news on the way.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always try to wrap things up around here with some good news, and I think this is really good news. We've talked recently, we just talked last week about how dynamite has peanuts in it, and we were talking about peanut allergies, and, there's more and more people that have peanut allergies these days. Well, a wearable skin patch may help children who are allergic to peanuts. It would deliver small doses of peanut protein. ABC News had the story where they talked about a study that found nearly half of those treated with a ViaSkin peanut patch for 1 year were able to consume at least 10 times more peanut protein than they were able to prior to the treatment.
That's excellent.
This is a thing that would actually build up an immunity to peanuts so you no longer have the allergy. The biggest benefit came from those 4 to 11 years old. Participants older than 12 did not see much of an effect. I've got the entire story at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. And if you suffer from a peanut allergy, I certainly don't want to make light of it because that is a terrible thing.
It's horrible.
And I just remember
but
now.
If this is a solution, if this could help you get over that peanut allergy, that's wonderful. It's
when
brilliant.
I was a kid, there was nobody in our school that had a peanut,
didn't have
and now there's
any
a ton
allergies
of that.
at all.
You can't bring treats to school. And again, I don't know what happened over the last decade or two. It's been more than a decade, I guess, since I've been in high school. We'll say 2, or maybe even 3. I don't know what's happened here where everybody's getting peanut allergies, but I think it's awesome to know that there's somebody out there working on this. So again, if you have that, it's on our Facebook page. So again, today is the day to get out and vote. We're going to be heading out to do that. If you haven't had a chance to do it, get out and do that as well. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great Tuesday. Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on Election Day.